This conference will now be recorded.
So last session was regarding VPCs. Right? So we have seen how to create VPCs, and then we've gone through different types of subnets, the private subnet, also public subnet, and so we understood the differences between MACDEL versus security groups, and also MACDEL is attached with the uh, VPC level, network level, and whereas security groups are attached to the instances. And then there's the gateways, internet gateway. Internet gateway is attached to the public subnet, whereas NAT gateway is for private subnet. Okay. Right. So we understood all of them in detail, and then now, so let's start with today. So auto scaling, load balancing. Auto scaling and then load balancing. Right. So let's talk about this auto scaling and then load balancing. How you understand this auto scaling load balancing? Let me just take you through a scenario. Now, let's take an instance. So for example, I have an EC2 instance. So that's my EC2 instance. And on this instance, so we have some application. Okay, there is some application. Some kind of email application, let's say. Now, so we have users. So these users are nothing but application users. When you say we have application users, there it is. Okay. We have some users. Okay. And so there are about 3,000 users access the application. So this instance can process about 3,000 requests per second. Okay. So since there are about approximately, I'm talking about, 3,000 users and wanted to access the application, and their application or the instance can process about 3,000 requests per second. Okay, fine. So that is how usually it works. But what if, so there are more number of users, they wanted to access the application, 4,000 users, 5,000 users, and 6,000 users. Now, the number of users, those who are trying to access the application, is increased. The usual traffic is about 3,000 users, but because of some other reasons, might be so the application has more traffic. So because of that, the users are increased. Definitely, when the users are increased, there will be more load on the instance, right? There will be some extra load, and but this instance capacity, according to its configurations, like hardware configurations or VPCs and whatever the settings, hardware configurations they have, according to those configurations, so it can accept up to, or it can process up to 4,000 requests. Okay, well, but now instead of 4,000, so it can, that's maximum capacity 4,000 requests, but now they have additional 2,000 users, 5,000, 6,000 users. So this instance can't handle that load. So since load cannot be handled, right, so there will be an issue for the instance. Okay, so there will be issue for the instance. What is the issue? That is what we call load issues. Your instance can't handle that much load. If instance can't handle that much load, right, then so how about the application? So application won't be accessed anymore. The reason is your instance has some load issues, right? Application won't be accessed. Your application will be accessed smoothly until unless your instance runs smoothly. But instance is not running smoothly because of the extra load on the instance. Your instance may get crashed. Instance might be down, or instance might have some performance issues. So that will affect your instance. Sorry, application, I'm sorry. So based upon instance performance, definitely application will be affected. Okay, clear? Now, so what is the solution then? So how can we handle this kind of issues, the load issues? We can handle this kind of issues. So now you understand, I think, what is the load issue, what is the load balancing issue. Instance is not able to balance the load. Okay. It will be able to balance the load only if it has more instances. For example, now it is adding up more number of instances. Okay. Now these are the new instances which are added, and but how they are added, right? So what do you mean by new instances? When I say new instances, these are the new instances which are added because your actual instance has some load issues. Okay, your actual instance has a load issue. So these are nothing but, the new instances are nothing but replicas of your actual instance. These are the replicas. Okay, clear? Well, so if these are replicas, how these replicas are created? When these are replicas are created, these replicas are created whenever your actual instance has some load issue. So what do you mean by load issue? Now let's talk about that. So since there are more number of users, so they're sending some requests to the application or your instance. So what might happen in this case, your instance utilization, that means CPU of the instance, could be so greater than 75%. Right? My instance utilization is more than 75%. If the instance utilization is more than 75%, then I want these new instances would be added. What do you mean by more than 75% means? If my instance has more load issue. Okay, so if the instance has like more number of users or load issues, then you have, so this is the concept we talk about. So auto scaling. What do you mean by auto scaling? Now if the instance, according to the conditions I set up, this is a condition, if it has CPU utilization is more than 75%, then I would like to add more instances. So adding more number of instances. Okay. So this is what we call scaling. So scaling in the sense adding up more number of instances. That's what we call scaling. Okay. Yeah. Now, how this scaling up is done are, so whether we do it manual scaling or auto scaling, definitely we prefer auto scaling. What is auto scaling means? Now, if this condition is satisfied, then I want to perform auto scaling. That's the condition. Okay. So how the load balancing can be done? So if you have auto scaling, then you can do the load balancing. Okay, well, so load balancing and auto scaling are the concepts. So you might need for any kind of applications or instances. If you have very crucial applications, especially like production kind of applications, then you must need auto scaling, load balancing. So what we call these two concepts together, auto scaling plus load balancing. So what do you call them together? So if you have auto scaling, load balancing have together, then you can have your high availability. High availability. So how high availability can be achieved with the help of auto scaling, load balancing. Okay. Right. Now we understand that idea behind what is auto scaling, what is load balancing, right? But how that will be implemented. I have an EC2 instance. I have some application running on that. How I can achieve that high availability, or how we can do auto scaling, load balancing. Right. So here we talk about the implementation, the practical implementation. How to implement that? So now this is the very important question. So this is a scenario basis question you can expect in almost like every interview. So there are about 90% plus of the chances in the interviews. So you may get asked questions on this. So I have an application running on instance, EC2 instance. Okay. Can you just suggest me how I can achieve the high availability of my application? Can you start from scratch? Can you give me all the steps? Well, we talk about that now. What are the different steps we follow to do it? Okay, fine. Now let's move on to that now, how it can be achieved, or what are the different steps. So to implement that auto scaling and load balancing, what are the steps? Now I'm going to take an example. Just create a new video. So I have an application. Take the same example, which is email application. Okay. Then we see how do we get the high availability for that. Okay. But now when you say email application, email might be having different modules. Let's say we might have inbox, we might have outbox or sent. Some different types of modules are integrated within that application, email application. Okay. So well, now we'll see. So we take that example now. I have an email application. For that, I have two types of modules, which is inbox and then outbox. Then how do I achieve that load balancing auto scaling concept for this? So moving on to that now, let's concentrate. This is the architecture which I'm going to explain now. So this architecture is very important for us. Make sure. Now first I have an EC2 instance, but I will have two EC2 instances. Okay, that's my instance 1, and I have my instance 2. I take two instances. So why two instances? That is my instance 1, and then I have instance 2. Okay. On the instance 1, I will be running an application, which is email application, but it is inbox. Okay, there is my inbox pages running on it. So which is inbox. Okay, so something like inbox.html, whatever, some page. And then on the other instance, I have my, for the same email application, I have my outbox page. Okay, so I have two pages running on it. One is inbox, other one is outbox. Okay. But for the same application, the application is same email application. Well, Now, once we have applications are ready on these EC2 instances, inbox plus outbox, and what I will be doing next, I will be creating auto scale groups. Now, let's create auto scale groups. So, what are auto scale groups? So, this is auto scale group 1. Now, what is the purpose? We'll talk about it. I'm creating two auto scale groups, auto scale group 1, and then I would create the second auto scale group, auto scale group 2. Okay, so two auto scale groups, auto scale group 1, auto scale group 2. Now, what is the purpose of these auto scale group 1, auto scale group 2? And so what do I do? For these instances we have, I would add this AMI of instance 1. We know what is AMI. I would add that AMI to the instance to the auto scale group 1, and I would be adding instance 2 AMI to the auto scale group 2. Okay, so I have two AMIs for instance 1, also instance 2. I've added these AMIs to the auto scale groups. Now, why did I add these AMIs to the auto scale groups? I have added these AMIs to the auto scale groups because these AMIs will be launching an instance in the auto scale group. Now, so AMI is added to the auto scale group 1. Since AMI is already added to the auto scale group 1, and that AMI has created an instance, and that instance has your inbox, which is your inbox.html page. Okay, so why? Because this is AMI. Okay, so the same thing. So what is an AMI? It's in backup, right? So I've taken a backup of that instance first, and then added that AMI to the auto scale group, so that you have your another instance also created under auto scale group, and there is your outbox. That AMI has created that instances. Well, so why did we add these AMIs to the auto scale groups? The reason is the end users, application users, okay, or email application users, I mean. So these users, they can access the application from here rather than your actual instance. This is my actual server where my application is running. I don't let the users to access or to create. I don't let the users to access the application from actual instances. These are my actual instances, so I don't want them to do it, because if something goes, if this user, okay, they're trying to hack my application, so they can still able to do only my auto scale group instance, but my actual existing instance will be running as usual. So for more security reasons. Okay, right. That's one reason why I add these AMIs to the auto scale group 1 and auto scale group 2. That's one reason. And the second reason, or the actual purpose why we need auto scale groups, is for the purpose of do auto scaling. I think we have seen what is auto scaling, right? On this auto scaling group, I'm going to set up a condition if the CPU of your instance 1 is greater than 75 percentage, greater than 75 percentage, then do auto scale. And the same condition I'm going to set up for other instance. If the CPU means CPU utilization is more than 75 percentage, then do the auto scaling like I have shown you previously. I've explained that previously. So if more number of users access the inbox application from this instance, then definitely this instance usage, CPU usage, is more than 75%. If that condition is satisfied, then the auto scale group takes care of adding up more instances. So even for the other instance, other auto scale group. So you don't need to monitor that. So whether it's like 75% less than or greater than 75%, manual monitoring is not required. So you do it with the help of auto scale group. Auto scale group, we set the condition. Once the condition has been set up, so it will take care of it. Okay. So that is why we need auto scale groups. Okay. Right. So hope you know now it is clear why we have added that AMI. So we added that AMI so for because of this reason. Okay, well now so this is what is auto scale groups. Then let's talk about now here I set up and load balancer. That is your load balancer. So why is a load balancer required now? So for example, I'm user one. As a user one, so if, for example, take your example, user in your browser to enter the application URL. So what is the application URL is? In your browser, you enter something like email.com/inbox.html. That's the URL. And then if there is another user, so he wants to access Outbox, then he's going to enter inbox.com/outbox.html. Yeah. Now in this case, how your request will be sent to the different autoscale groups. So this user one, which is inbox.html, and other user is outbox.html. Okay, this is my other user, let's say, and this user, he wants to access Outbox. Okay, we have two users. Now, if this user, he wants to access Inbox, the request of this user must be sent to the autoscale group one, and this user has in his URL, he has Outbox. Look at that URL, and this user request must be routed to the autoscale group 2. Right? So this is what we call load balancing. So based upon the user request, what type of pages or what type of applications they want to access, according to that, the load balancing will be done. What exactly load balancer does? Load balancer is for the purpose of routing the traffic. Okay. Right. Hope you understand that now. But how the load balancer understands it has to route the traffic to autoscale group 1, autoscale group 2. Okay. Now there comes your set up the conditions. Set up condition. The condition is if the user URL contains inbox.html, then route the traffic to which one? Autoscale group 1. If the user URL contains inbox.html, then route the traffic to autoscale group and set up another condition. So these are the conditions, these are the rules. So we set up in here. If user URL has outbox dot html and then route it to the auto scale group 2. Okay, so now if the user is, so this is the user URL, that URL has inbox, right? Then since the condition I have rule I have set up on load balancer is, that's a condition, route to the auto scale group 1. And if the user URL has outbox, route to the auto scale group 1. That is the purpose of load balancer. Okay, well, now we understand what is a load balancer, what is an auto scale group. Then, so in between auto scale groups, load balancers, so we have something else. So what are they? These are what we call them target groups. Okay, target groups. So that's target group 1. Okay, and this is my target group 2. So we have two target groups, target group 1, target group 2. Okay, so what are the target groups? See, load balancer communication, so must go through the target groups to the auto scale groups. So for example, take this example. So if there is inbox, okay, user, and this user has an option called, the rule setup, I have the rule setup in the load balancer. If the user request or user URL has inbox, then route to the auto scale group 1. But auto scale group routing from load balancer is not possible. So the communication must happen through the target groups. Okay, so that's why I'm going to change the condition now. The condition is, instead of auto scale group, now I will be changing it to the target group. So I change it to the target group 1. Okay, and same thing for other rule. Okay, I'm changing the rule now. The rule is, so there is, you have, so target group 2. Okay, so now take this example, outbox. User has outbox. Since user has outbox, the request will be routed to the target group, and from there auto scale group 2. But again, the same thing. So there must be some communication might be happening between these two, right? So here load balancer is sending a request to the target group. Okay, fine. But from there, so I already also need to have the communication must be set up between these two, target group to the auto scale group. That is how it works. Okay, right. So yes, that is also we need to do. So firstly, let me again repeat it, what has to be done. This is the whole architecture diagram. If you remember this diagram, you can explain this easily. You can explain the scenario easily. How do you set up that? Very easy. Remember that architecture diagram. Let me repeat it again. So first we have EC2 instances, and for these EC2 instances, we create auto scale group. In the auto scale group, so we add the AMI, and also we set up the conditions how auto scale groups can do the load balancing, set up the conditions. Sorry. And then we set up the load balancers, and in the load balancers, we set up some rules according to the rules. So it will be doing load balancing, set up the rules. And between auto scale groups and then load balancers, we are target groups. In the load balancer, when we set up the rules, we set it up according to the rule, how the traffic will be routed. So there is routing. We set up according to the conditions. And then the target group and the auto scale group condition must be, the communication might be happening between these two. So this is what is a whole setup is done. And then now we're going to look into this practically. Okay. So the first step and the second step, auto scale groups. Third step, load balancer. Fourth step, target groups. And then finally, we set up the rules between load balancers and target groups. That's the last. Fine. Moving on to that now, let's start with taking an example. I'm going to create two instances. One is for inbox, other one is for outbox. I'm going to take two instances. So on instance one, I will be creating inbox.html and instance two, I will be creating outbox.html page. Then we'll be doing load balancing auto scaling for this. Let's see. So log into the console. Where is my console? Slow. Right. So let's create instances first. Basic instances. So go. Okay. Just take so AMI, that's AMI. And going with micro instances, select it. And I will be creating two instances. One is for inbox, other is for outbox. And networks, you can take a different network or default network. So that's your choice. So you can go with also the VPC scenario one. Okay, because we have only public instances, right? I mean, your public application, you can go with it. Right? So now go with next, and just some volumes, all the settings, and the name. So name is equals to, let's say, name. Name is, so let's say, inbox instance. We already have those names. What shall be the name then? Okay, let's say new inbox instance. Okay, let's give something. Configure next. And security rules, we go with like anywhere, fine, just like SSH. But I would like to add a new rule. Okay, and the rule is HTTP rule. Why HTTP rule? So on these instances, I will be creating a couple of HTML pages, inbox and then outbox. Since I will be creating pages, I must have HTTP rule set up. So I'm setting up HTTP rule. Okay, so do that. Go with next, and then launch. Let's create an new key pair. So the key pair name is, let's do some new key is key pair, download key pair from launch instances. Okay, these are instances. But we have two instances, right? Okay, we have created instances. Let me filter running instance. Well, okay, let me just rename one of the instances because both instances being named as inbox. I want to rename second instance as an outbox. Okay. Here's outbox. New outbox instance. Okay, we have instances. One is for inbox, other one is for outbox. Well, fine. We just log into those instances. But if log instances, we need PuTTY, right? I don't have PuTTY installed on this system, so just install PuTTY. Download. So download it. So what is my Windows? 32-bit or 64-bit? 64-bit. 64-bit. Let's download the 64-bit. Okay. Just read. Get installing. Okay, open it. So it install now. I have installed Putty. But how about Puttygen? Is it also installed? Do I need to do Puttygen? Puttygen is not installed. Let's install Puttygen. Of course, that's also required. So this is my new system. The system. So Puttygen. So Puttygen. Puttygen. And click on this download. Station page. Download.
సార్ ఒకసారి వెళ్ళి చెక్ చేయండి సార్ అందులో డౌన్లోడ్స్ అదే ఇక్కడ సైడ్ కుట్టిజన్ నాన్ విండోస్ అన్నమాట.
That's an ad, I guess. Ad? That's an ad actually. Yeah. Download footages. So weird actually. The page. How weird that is. Yeah, that is. Come on. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. So my system is changed when I need to install this. Is it installed? Is it ready yet? Yeah. And let's install. Is it? Is it already installed or what? I don't know. 1 second. I see only Putty, but when it says to change and install it, then how come it's not? Putty only. Actually, Putty. There is footage, and okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. That is already installed it, but it was not in the list. Right, go with that. Wasted some time. Yeah. Let's. This is my PM file. We know that, so we need to convert that into the PPK file. So load it. Where is that? Downloads. Let's see. Here is it there in downloads? No. Let's see downloads. Oh. Come on, where is this? This is the OS itself is changed, so I'm just a bit confused. Like, where is the downloads? Should I go with the desktop or can I see the downloads from here? The display is getting from here. The downloads. Okay. I just get the path. That's better. Yeah, that's better. Downloads. Where is it? It's not in downloads. Should that should be in downloads. Then why it's not giving me the downloads then? Too many things. So is it like okay, fine. Select all files. Well, where's that file? The Raju key file, something. What is the name I have given? The new key pair something. Yeah, that's a key file. Right. Open it and then save as a private key. Yes, save it and save it as let's say new key and it as .ppk and the type of the file is .ppk. Let's save it. Well, done. Open our putty. So where is it from? Putty. I can search for this putty. Putty. Now, so finally we are where are the instances. Now go with the instances now. So get the IPs. Now this is IP address of inbox instance. Let me save it on the text document. Okay. So the inbox instance. Then take the IP address for the outbox instance. That's IP address for the outbox instance. Okay. There it is. Okay. Fine. Now moving on to first inbox instance. Log into that. And then just change the appearance settings. Also the colors and connections. Okay. One and then SSH authentication. Browse for the key. That's in downloads. Okay, where is that downloads? It's in JC drive. There. When I copy the path, I don't want to remember that. With the downloads, copy the path. Paste it. Enter. And that's a key. Open it. Yes. So what was username? Username was EC2 user. EC2 user. Right. Login and switch to super user. Well, we are in, and so now I'm going to create an inbox.html page. Okay. So let's create the inbox.html page. So where I'm going to create that inbox.html page. So let me take an IP address. Okay, take the IP address. So when I take the IP address of the instance, enter that IP address somewhere in the browser. Okay, only the IP address of the inbox instance. What do I see? I see nothing. The site can't be reached. Okay. First, let's understand this issue. What do you mean by this issue? So how do you debug these kind of issues, as we all know? So the first thing is, if you get this kind of issue, we check the NACL, network access control list, and then security groups. NACL, since we have selected our VPC as a default VPC. Default VPCs they always have all rules set up, I mean allow all traffic. Okay. So whereas for security groups, we have set up the security group as HTTP. So that is not an issue. So that is the first thing you do. You check the NACL. For the NACL, where is my instance? For the NACL, let's check the security networking. And then your VPC. And you have subnet for them. That NACL has that's NACL. Not an issue. So for this, I want to set the NACL. So main network access control list. Check the access control list. Select it. And so check this out, the inbound, outbound rules for that. Inbound rules. And we check the inbound rules only. The inbound rules is set up is all traffic to allow. Okay, fine. That is not an issue then. Then what else we check? We check with the security. We check with the security groups of the instance. Let's do it. Is where are 1 second cancel. Go with our instances. So check that new instance. Okay. So for this instance, I want to check this. Hope you remember while I was setting up instance. I've set up my security group and so inbox for the inbox instance for security. And so you can see that I add an STD rule. So that's not an issue. Right. Still, why I'm getting the issue? So failure issue. So the reason is you're trying to send an inbox instance an HTTP request, but anytime if your instance wants to process the HTTP request, it has to have HTTP service enabled. Hope you remember the HTTP service, right? We discussed that in Linux sessions, and that HTTP service should be enabled. But is the service is enabled? Let's see, service HTTPD status. No, it's not there. That means, so the package itself is not installed. So I'm going to install the package. So go with yum install HTTP y. Okay, so all done. We can try refresh that browser page. It's still getting the same issue. Why the reason? Okay, let's check the HTTPD status. The status is inactive, right? So you can see that. See on RH on Red Hat, RHEL Red Hat. Okay. So when you install some packages, the status of those are inactive. So make sure you go with service HTTPD, then start. Okay. Now you can check the status again. Well, so this is all running. It's active status. And now we refresh the browser. I see some page, right? So this page, this is a welcome page of Red Hat. So where this page is displaying from, the page is displaying from, and this is the path, the var www and then HTML. This is the path, and in this path, okay, I'm going to create my own page, which is inbox.html page. Okay, let's open that page. We create a page. There I'm going to write some HTML code, some simple, very basic HTML code. Enter HTML and close HTML. Open, close HTML. That's it. And there I give some heading of the page. Let's say hello from inbox. Let's say hello from inbox. So let's go with inbox page. Okay, and close that heading. And this is our HTML page, which is inbox.html page. I have created in this path. What is the path? Var www HTML. And open this, refresh the page. Now there I want to go with /inbox.html. Now I have inbox page is loaded. Okay, I have inbox page is loaded. Right. So now I'm going to create another instance. There I'm going to deploy outbox.html page. So we are at the first step, right? So we're at this step. Okay. So let's do that now. So where is my second instance? I think we already have launched this instance. So we have the IP address as well. That's IP address. Okay. Copy. And then so go with new session. That's IP address. Select the connection and then select the key. Just log in. This is the user. And go with super user. Right. So moving on to what is the first thing? The first thing is enter the IP address of this instance in the browser. That is the same thing, I guess. What is that? So if we have these issues, check the NACL, we check the security group. But for both instances, same security groups and same NACL. Then where is the issue then? The issue is again just like the previous issue. The package is not installed. You can check the service first, service HTTPD, and then status. So it is not found. So install it. So yum install HTTPD. That okay. And then check the service HTTPD, and then status not running, so I want to restart. So it is started. Then you can refresh your browser. Okay. Then there is a home page, right? But I want to visit some other page. cd/var www and then HTML, and this path would be available only after you install HTTP package. If HTTP package is not installed, the path won't be there. Okay. Now, so then I'm going to create my outbox.html page. Here, I'll write some basic code over here, which is HTML. This is how you write HTML. Very basic. I'm not writing any lengthy kind of scripts. Okay. Then H1 stands for heading. H1. Let's say hello from outbox page. Okay. Save it. Now we can load that from here. So slash outbox.html. There it is. Okay. Now these are the URLs for our inbox and then outbox. Those are the URLs. Okay. And that's for outbox. Take the outbox. Go with outbox. Okay. So we have two URLs for inbox and then outbox. Yes, we are there. So we have done with the first step. Okay. All good. Now let's go with autoscale groups. We create autoscale groups, but before I create autoscale groups, I must have AMI, right? Let's create AMI for both instances. So scroll down. So new inbox instance, I would take instance actions and go with image and templates. I teach. Okay. So give an inbox name, inbox email. Okay. You can give even AM whatever. New inbox AMI. Okay. Also give some AMI, and even the volumes also will be taken backup when you take AMI backup. Right? And then go with next. So we're creating AMIs. First I have to so that is inbox AMI is and secondly I will be creating for outbox. So actions, then image and templates, and then create an image. So we'll be creating the outbox. Let's say outbox. And then create it. Just create. And the AMIs will be under AMIs. You can see the AMIs I think they're still creating. Let's see. Okay, so they're still creating. So we have new inbox AMI, also we have new outbox AMI. Okay, fine. So let them be created. Now, moving on to now. So the second step is done. Minimize is created, and the third step will be auto scale group. So let's create auto scale group. So while I create auto scale group, I will be adding that AMI to the instance. I mean, into the auto scale group. Right? Let's see how do we create auto scale groups now. So under the EC2 itself, so we are on the EC2 dashboard. On the under EC2 dashboard, you have so auto scaling groups. So there is your auto scaling. There you have auto scale group. Now, scale group. Okay. But while you create auto scale group, then so AMS to the auto. Okay. Then you set up some condition or CPU conditions, all these ones. Okay. But let's do one thing. So recently, the AWS has introduced a new concept called template concept. Let me show you. They have launch configuration. What is a launch configuration? So whenever we set up auto scale groups, to auto scale groups, so we set up some conditions. Okay, we set up some conditions. What conditions we set up? The conditions are, so what is your AMI? Okay, and then so what type of conditions you want to set up for the auto scale group? Okay, we set up all these ones. Now go with launch configuration. I'm going to create a launch configuration. Okay, let's create a launch configuration. So this launch configuration is by template. So we are creating a template, and later this template I will be adding that to auto scale. Okay, so first I'm creating a template. Right. So that template will help us in adding this template to the auto scale group. Okay, right. Let's do it now. So give a launch configuration name or a template name. You can give any name. Let's say I would go with I would be creating new two new launch configurations. One is for inbox auto scale group, and second one is for outbox. New launch, or let's say I would say new inbox auto scale group 1. I would say template. That's a name. Okay, so give a name. And so what AMI you want to add this? Now you see that we are adding that to the template itself. Okay, we're adding that to the template so that this template will be added to the launch configuration. Okay, I mean auto scale group. I mean, so this is a template we are creating. We are creating a launch configuration. This template we can add it to the auto scale group. Right. So do it. So which one? New inbox, isn't it? So yeah, there is new inbox AMI. And then to select the instance type. So these are the instance type will be created under your auto scale group. Choose instance type. And so I would go with only the basic one, t2.micro instances. So these type of instances only will be launched in your auto scale groups. So that's what I'm selecting now. because autoscale groups will have your instances launched. So what type of instances? So these instances will be launched. That's what I'm selecting now. Then, so these things, for you want to enable the monitoring and all these ones, and you want to go with some IAM role. So you can go with IAM role, because sometimes what might happen is, so these instances might want to have access to the some other type. Let's say I have created these ones, right? Let's say EC2 RDS something. Okay, you can add that role as well. That's your choice. Okay. Yeah. You can request even for a spot instances you want. You can request for a spot instance, and these are the charges for spot instances. Okay. Then any optimization, for instance, EBS optimization, you can select the EBS optimization. So that's okay. These are like required. And then storage volume. This is a volume, and all these ones are loaded from the AMI. Okay. And then create a new security group. So you want to create a new security group, create a new security group, and for the security group, we add some rules. Okay, the must and should rule has to be SSH. Okay, SSH as well as HTTP. Why HTTP? I think you know the reason now. Okay. So there we have HTTP application running, which is HTML page, and then so key pair. You want to go with setting some key pair. Choose an existing key pair. So there's a key pair I have created. New key pair. This is the one, and then acknowledge it, and can create launch configuration. So I'm creating only launch configuration only. I'm not in autoscale group. Okay. Autoscale group will be created once after launch configurations are ready. Now I'm going to create a second launch configuration. Now I have created for inbox autoscale group one template, a launch configuration, and I will be creating a new one, which is for outbox. Okay. So with give a name first. So new inbox, instead of saying new inbox, so it will be out. So new outbox autoscale group 2, let's say. That's a name template. And select the AMI. I would be selecting AMI, which is new outbox AMI. Okay. And then, so instance type, select the instance type. I would go with instance type as an T2.micro instance type. Choose it. So T2.micro. Select. Okay. And again, same things, every setting is same, and select some roles if you want, or you want to enable the monitoring and all these settings, and then security groups, EBS, and security groups, and security group. Add that SSH, also adding HTTP. Remember the port numbers. Sometimes you may expect questions on these port numbers. Okay. And then key pair. Select the key pair. Launch configuration. So both templates are ready. So I have this template that is for outbox. This is a template and will be for inbox. Okay. Well, now let's try with so autoscale groups. Let's create autoscale groups. And while I'm creating these autoscale groups, I will be choosing these templates. Okay. and also which response. Okay? So that is the template that I will be using now while creating autoscale group. So now I'm creating an autoscale group. Okay, let's create autoscale group. So give an autoscale group name. So just a name. So name is new AG1, new AG1 for inbox. Okay, this is my autoscale group one for new AG1 for inbox. Okay, give some name, and then we can use the templates we have created here. Switch to launch configuration, click on it, and then select the templates I have created. I have created two templates. One is for inbox AG1 template, select it. Okay, so that template or that configuration already have these AMI selected, instance type selected, security groups created. Okay, hope that was clear. Next, and then VPCs. So what VPC are you going to select? Are you going to select a different VPC or default VPC? You can select the VPCs. So, but what if, let's say I'm creating, so these instances, my instances are created under one VPC, autoscale groups I'm creating on another VPC. Yeah, that is possible. You can do it. That's not a problem. But we need to raise an VPC peering connection. Okay. Right. So I'm going with same VPC and then subnets. So make sure you select at least 2 subnets for autoscale groups. You must have at least 2 subnets for high availability purpose. Okay, that is required. I have selected 3 anyway. Now go with next. And then now here you see that load balancer. It's asking us to select the load balancers, but I have no load balancers created yet, right? I have no load balancers. I will be creating load balancer after autoscale groups are done. I will be doing it in the future. So initially I'm creating only autoscale groups. Okay, well, so let's go with the no load balancer. We don't have any load balancers. Okay, so try with the no load balancer. But if you already have created that, you can attach the load balancer. You can do it. Okay, you can see that attach existing load balancer, attach new load balancer. If you go with the new load balancer, you'll be creating a load balancer, new load balancer. But I would go with no load balancer since we don't have any. So next is scroll down. Then we have health check. So this is the health check. Now, so what is a health check is? Health check grace period, amount of time EC2 autoscaling performs for first health check to the new instances after they are put into service. So what is that? So back to the example. Now here, so if there are new instances are being created under this autoscale group, that's a new instance, and how much time it takes to get the instance into the service or to ready state. So that is what is your time. Okay, so that's what is health check time. So I would go with, let's say, 300 seconds. I can go with any time. So minimum is 5 minutes. That means 300 seconds minimum. Because whenever, even when you launch an instance, if the instance needs to be ready, it has some time, needs some time. So it's 5 minutes of time. Okay. And then so go with next. Again, the same thing. Monitoring. You want to monitor it, you can monitor it using CloudWatch. That you can do it. Next. And so this is your capacity, desired size, how instances will be maintained within the what is called. So within the autoscale group. Okay. You can mention inner number of, sorry.
It is target group, sir. Like that.
Are we creating target groups?
Okay, sir.
We are creating auto scale groups.
Okay, sir.
Well, hope you missed it. So concentrate. See, even if you miss even a single point from this architecture, so not only you, I mean everyone. Even if you miss one point, so that might affect your understanding. Now, minimum capacity, how many number of minimum instances you like to manage, you want to maintain, and maximum capacity. So maximum is how much you can upgrade up to maximum is 5. It's maximum. Okay. Desired is that's desired. That means always how many number of instances you want to maintain. So desired is like always. Minimum is we can scale it down up to minimum is 1, but maximum is 5. Now scroll down again. What is that? Scroll down and scaling policies. So what is the scaling policy? How the scaling will be done? How would you like to do the scaling? I want to do the scaling on the condition is, so this is a condition, CPU percentage on that condition. Okay. Then, so you can give some name to the scaling policy, you can give some name, and then, and how would you like to do the scaling? Average CPU utilization, and if that is, so 75. That means more than 75. And then, so instance needs about 300 seconds to warm up before including metrics. Okay. So instance needs about 300 seconds. So to include in metrics. That means, so whenever the condition is satisfied, so it needs about 300 seconds to get your scaling policy done. Okay. Now you can set up these metrics even on these conditions: network incoming and network outgoing, or else application load balancer request, con per target. This is like something called con per target. What is that application con per target? Application load balancer con per target. So how many number of requests? Okay, so coming on to the load balancer. So that's based upon the count. Okay, right. Now that's just on count basis. Okay, you can just select that. Even application load balancer request count. Well, so next is, now I would go with the anyway CPU utilization and all selected, and then just go with next, and then you want to add some notifications. Now this is your SNS. Okay, add notification. If you have any notifications already there, you can send notifications. Send a notification. You can select something. Okay. And event types: launch, template, failure, or failure. That means if your auto scale group has these, so events failed, so launch failure or terminated, and even in these cases, your notifications will be triggered. Okay. In what cases you want to trigger the notifications on these type of events? Okay. Now go with next. Now, so you can just tag name, you can skip the tag name, that's not required. Review all the settings again. So configuration, network settings, load balancer settings, and so group settings. Okay. Now, so create one. So create a new one. So what is the one we have created? New AG1, right? I'm going to create another auto scale group, and which is, so new AG2 and per outbox. Okay. Then, so what is the launch template? So click on that launch template. The launch template was new outbox AG2 launch template. and then so go with next. Then the VPCs and the subnet, select some subnets, selecting all three. Then next, and then I have no load balancers. I will be creating that later. And then your health checks, the and how much time to start your instance, and enable the CloudWatch alarms. You want to enable that, and then desired capacity, minimum capacity, maximum capacity. I want to go with maximum capacity as 5. Then so desired and minimum capacity, and then set up the conditions on what metrics you want to do the conditions. I want to do the conditions on CPU utilization and how much time, and so how much percentage. I will go with 78%. So next, and notifications, and what notification, select notification, and then so go with next. Click on next. Now you're launching the second auto scale group also. Create one. Now since we are launching 2 auto scale group, and these auto scale groups must have instances created, right? So because the desired capacity is 1, since desired capacity is 1, these auto scale groups must be launching instances. Check that what is the instance is launched in this auto scale group. Let me check this. Okay, just scroll down. I want to check the instance. Instance is launched in this. So do you have instance ready yet? It should be ready. 1 second, scroll up. Just a second. Okay, select it again. And then we can see the instance management under that. And there you can see that our new instance, that's our new instance. This instance I have not launched it. That is launched by the auto scale. Sorry, should be. And that's IP address for instance. So this instance I'm not launched again. So this is launched the auto scale group. Okay, let's launch the auto scale group. That's your instance. And what is the tag of the instance? Let me give some name to the instance, the tag. So this is the tag, isn't it? Give some name. Manage tags. I want to create a new tag. Add a tag. Name is equals to. And then so give a name, which is what will we need? So let's give name as new AG1. Okay. Instance, new instance. Use some new instance. Instance 1. Okay. Name. One instance 1 is on. That's all. is it? New AG1 instance 1. Okay, and then with IP address, I just want to check that. So if I log into that instance, I just close all of them, close this cookie. I close it and then log into the new instances which are launched by the autoscale groups. Okay. So close them. I will go with cookie and then log into the instance, which is our inbox instance. I change these settings, appearance settings. And then select cookie. Not connecting yet. What is the reason? No network connection. It says connection timeout. Okay. Well, so why is it so? Why is connection timeout? So this is security group name. Group 3. One second, let me check the securities. So is it because of securities? Yes. Okay. No, it is there. Security inbound rules is already there. 80 rules, the 80 rule is already there. That's not because of the security. Is it because of instance? Is it the right instance? 1 second. Let me just back to the autoscale group. But which one that is? This is the one, right? Let me check that. Autoscale new OIG1, autoscale one. Maintenance. Instance management. So that's instance. Yeah, that's the correct instance. That's in service. All good. Healthy. It's okay. And why this is not launched? Okay, let me just check the instance. Select it. What is going wrong? So we just need to find why we are not able to SSH to the instance. Let's find out. So IP address is key, and then check the key pair. Key pair was correct, and securities. So I think there is no securities. But just here's again. Security groups also all good. That's a security group name. So we have inbound rules. It's already been set up, which is 80. Source is from anywhere. Okay. Oh well, see what's that? There is no SSH rule for this. How come? I'm just simply for HTTP, but we should have SSH, right? How come that is not there? I think that is the reason it's not allowing us to do it. But just go with SSH. SSH, and then so from anywhere. Now it will allow us to save the room. So try with now again with the IP address. So where is that IP? Go back to the instances and check the events. So there is the instance. Let's name it's new AG1 instance 1. That's the one. The IP address again. So IP address. So login again. Let's try. Let's change this. Again, the settings as usual. Colors. And select the key. There it is. Align this. EC2 user. Switch to super user. All right. So finally, let's see with the help of that IP address, will I be able to access my inbox? Now, but firstly, so do I have that inbox? Yes, we have inbox page. And also I want to check the service status, the service HTTPD status. It's not running. So since it's not running, I would just start the service. Let's say start. Now service is started. Then we take this IP and enter that IP address browser slash inbox. So it is loaded. That means our AMI has created an autoscale group instance 1. So is it the same for the other one, which is instance 2? So now we just look into our second autoscale group, which is outbox. This is a time taking procedure from end to end, so time take process. Second one we have created, that's a new one. But okay, I want to see the instance for this. So that's instance. Okay. And this is a into the instance I X and X and name, let's say new AG2 and instance 1. Okay, this is AutoScale group 2 instance. Okay, save it. This is the one. Then why the string is a let me check it again. Why this tag is not there? Not there. Tag not added. That's the tag is not added. And we can add it from here. So this created by. We want to see this which one scale group, second group 1. Okay. Is it the correct one? I think so. That's the correct instance. Give a name. Again, let me name it. I think the name not. So new 82 times 1. Save it. Now we just log in and check this. Is the correct instance? Not sure. Let's instance 1. Okay. Okay, let's log into that. So the key. SQL user. What is that? Server choose the key. I think that was not the instance. We have selected wrong instance. Let's back to the AutoScale groups again. The first one. Okay, instance management. This instance. So, and then let's see. Select the key and all the steps. Just we are doing SSH, nothing else. If this is refusing, I think again we need to check these security groups of the instance. I think this will be reduced. But let me just check the security group, but I'll just make a note of this IP address just in case. Okay, get the IP address copied and check the security groups. I think they are the one who is rejecting it. And network securities. Okay, security groups. And inbound rules. and then add a row. So there is SSH added, right? Add SSH, and then anywhere, just save. Now we can try that again. Just go with, so reconnect it. It's connecting, login. Right. So switch to super user and find the page. So that's a page, and then what is that? HTML. And we have outbox page, but we need to make sure the service is running. So status is not running. I want to start the status. And then which is, we take the IP address, and then browser, in browser, and slash box dot HTML. Done. So we are done with the second step. Third step, I mean. The second step was, the first step was instance creation. Second step was AMI creation. Third step is autoscale groups creation. Okay. We have two more steps. We create autoscale groups. Also, we create load balancer. Now I will be proceeding with creating a load balancer. Okay. Let's create a load balancer. So then once load balancer is created, I will be moving on to the autoscale target groups created. Let's create a target group. So load balancer. So create a load balancer. So we are creating a load balancer. After balancer is created, I can create target groups. So we are going to create a load balancer. Create balancer. So when you say load balancers are of three types. Okay. So what are the application load balancer, network load balancer, and gateway load balancer? Now, application load balancer will be doing the load balancing based upon these type of rules: HTTP, HTTPS rules. So I have my application, and that application is HTTP application. So I want to do the load balancer on these type of rules. So then we do the load balancer based upon application. And if you want to do the load balancer on these type of rules, TCP, UDP kind of rules, and then we select the network load balancer. And then if you want to do the load balancer based upon the IP addresses, we select the gateway load balancer. But since we are HTTP, which is an application, I would select the HTTP load balancer, HTTPS balancer. We call it application load balancer. And even one second, let me just give some name. I would name it as load balancer 2. Okay, that's my load balancer 2, and which is internet facing. Why internet facing? So this is an internet application purpose. So it is internet application. So going load balancer protocol, HTTP protocol, because it's an application answer. Okay. And select the availability zones. How many availability zones? I'm selecting 3 availability zones in which a load balancer will be running. Next, create security groups. Next, we can create a new security group or else select the existing one. I create new security and I would select the this one, which is HTTP, okay, or TCP, and then 80 port number, and anywhere, go with anywhere. Okay. So you can select custom TCP means it is nothing but HTTP. Okay, it's HTTP. It's all same. Then next. Now, so this is the step. Here we are creating target flow. So you cannot create and load balancer alone. Load balancer must have at least one target flow. Okay, well, let's do that. So now I'm creating a target flow. So you cannot create load balancer alone. It must have at least one target flow. So that is why I'm creating a target flow. So what is my target group name? New target group one. Okay, that's my target group. New target group one. So target type is instance because we are going to point to the instances, right? So in the auto scales, then protocol is HTTP and the type is port is 80. Next, and we do these things in the now it's created. We talk about them. We do that later. Don't worry, skip that. Then create one. Now, so this is your load balancer. So while I was saying load balancer, it also has a target group created. Okay. Now I need a second target group. Okay, I need a second target group. Yeah. So I'm creating a second target group because architecture again we need two. Like so, create target group one. Now I'm creating a second target group. I'm creating a second target group. Okay. So let's get second target group. Let's do it. And this is also instance target group and give a name and new target group 2. Okay, that's a name. Then so the type of the protocol type HTTP because it is application we are waiting for, and then VC, and that's our default VPC. That's a default VPC, I guess. Yeah, that is the one. Anyway, and then just we can skip them all. We just talk about that later. These are the rules actually. These rules we set it up later. But creating one. Okay. And secure group. And you can create an target group here. Second. These are regarding your available instances, registered targets. Okay. Even these steps have been changed. I think we can skip them, I guess. Yeah, we can skip them. That's okay. That's not a problem. Just create target group. So, well, so which one is new target group 2? That's the one. Okay. And then, so that target group is not pointing to the load balancer yet, right? So it's not pointing to the load balancer. But the latest one, the first one I have created was pointing to the load balancer group. Okay. So we have target groups created and now load balancer created. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to point this target group to autoscale group 1 and target group 2 to autoscale group 2. And later at the end, I'm going to set up these rules. Okay, that's the last step. So now back to the autoscale groups. In the autoscale groups, your option there to select the load balancers. Let's do it. Not loaded yet. This is not loading. Okay, let's do it this. Sometimes pages also might be blocked. Right. So which one first? I go with the new auto scale group one. Okay, for this one, I select it, and there I'm going to edit. So there is where I'm going to edit this. Where is that load balancing? Now here you see that load balancing, right? Now edit that load balancing. We had no load balancer initially, but now I'm adding a new load balancer, not new load balancer. I think go with application load balancer, select that. And the load balancer I have created was, which is, so new target group 2. Okay, so new target group 2, see that. And also we have new target group 1. Okay, select the load balancer first. Okay, select the load balancer, and then so it is added, load balancer is added. Then so yeah, add the load balancer. That's enough. Yeah, I think that will do. We have added a load balancer for that. Okay, let's do that. Save it first. Okay. Load balancer, target group 2. Well, okay, that's fine. Okay. And do the same thing for other one, which is our auto scale group 1, auto scaling group. This is for 1, and I'm selecting for 2. Okay, that's okay. And then just scroll down, and there I would select the load balancer. It, and then load balancer I have created those. So load balancer 2. 1 second. Something I'm having any mistakes. Okay. Well, so I have done a small mistake there. Okay. See, for the auto scale group 1, I should have selected new so target group 1, right? I've selected target group 2 over there. I missed it. Okay, 1 second. So look at the picture again. So target group must target group 1 pointing to auto scale group 1. Is it clear? But what did I do? I've selected that. So auto scale group 1, I've selected target group 2. Okay, but this has to be like this, right? Right. So that's a mistake I have done. That's what I was wondering. So did I do any mistakes? Mistake. But this is our, since it is the second target group, auto scale group 2. I'm selecting new target group 2. Okay. I'm checking that again. Yeah, that's the one. That should be okay. But for the first one, we must change it. Go back to the first one, we'll change it. Auto scale group. Okay, there it is. Which one? The first one. Scroll and then just still scroll down. We have load balancing. There you see that I like the wrong one. In fact, I should have selected auto scale group, new target group 1. Okay, well, updated. Now, so even this configuration is done. So the whole setup is done. The final setup is set up these rules. Okay, set up the rules. How do you set up the rules? We set up the rules from the load balancers. Okay, so where is load balancer have created? So go to the load balance. And we have created load balancer 2, right? And the load balancer, I will be setting up these 2 new rules. The load balancer 2, and then the first load balancer, that's okay, just leave it, it's not moving. And I would go with that listeners. The listeners, I'll set up that role, add a listener. Okay, means adding a role. Just a second, I don't want to add a new role. 1 second. I want to go with, the rules are already been set up. Okay, the rule was already there. I want to just edit the rule. Okay, this rule was the default rule. So the default setup when I've created a load balancer. So I'm going to insert some new rule. Click on that plus, insert rule, and the rule is now. So if the path, okay, the URL path means the URL has */inbox.html, then forward to, and we I want to forward to the target group 1. Okay, then so save it. I'm going to add second rule, add, and if the path is */ star means the front part, that means the first part of the URL can be anything, but if that URL has outbox.html action forward to, so forward to the target group 2. Okay, now we save it. Okay, hope the 2 rules been set up, right? Okay, then we finally just make sure, okay, back to the load balancer, and for the load balancer, go to the description of the load balancer, and there you have an DNS name. That's the DNS name, domain name. I take the domain name, I give that domain name user, and if the user wants to access inbox.html, now the URL has inbox. URL has inbox. Inbox is loaded, right? So there is a condition I have set up. If it has inbox, yes, that has inbox, then the user is accessing inbox page. If the URL has outbox, users will be accessing outbox page. Yes. Now the user has got displayed inbox page. Fine. But if the URL also has outbox, let's say outbox, enter. Now outbox page is loaded. So finally, the user does not have any idea. So whether what is using in the backend, that means are we using load balancers? Are we using auto scale groups? So user has no idea about this. What all user knows is just take the URL, enter the URL in the browser. According to the URL, if this is inbox, it is auto scale group 1. If it's outbox, it will be auto scale group 2. Okay, fine. But I want to make this DNS simplified. How the DNS can be simplified? Using VPCs. Okay, so what VPC, not VPC, I'm sorry. So we talk about creating DNS name. So we have a service called Route 53, right? For the Route 53, in Route 53, I will be testing for that because that is member for the users. I want to simplify. Finally, I want to create a URL, something like this. Instead of that, I want to create email, okay, something like email.com/outbox, okay, /inbox. Right. So how do you do that? Route 53, we know the DNS concepts of Route 53, right? So go with the dashboard, we know things. So first create a hosted zones. You can first go to the hosted zones, you can register the domain names, and once it is registered, and go to hosted zones and create one hosted zone. The hosted zone, and domain name is go to say so newmail.com. Just scroll down and public hosted and create one. Once the hosted is created, I'm going to create a record set. So create a record set for this. And in record set, in our S3 sessions, I have selected as buckets, but now here I will be creating. So let's give some record name. Let's say email. Okay, and then right. So is it? Yeah. Just 1 second. And then I will go with. So in the and then select the value. What is that? This is 1 second. Yeah, alias, right? Okay. I don't know why they have put it over here. Alias, and then endpoint. So which endpoint? Our load balancers. Okay. Select the application load balancer. Okay. And the load balancer I have created was, and select the zone as well. So Mumbai, and then which one is the load balancer 2. Okay. So where is that? That's our load balancer 2. Select it, and now create a record set. Just creating a record set. Okay. So what is our DNS name finally? The final DNS name is my.email.com. That's what I have created. So my.email.com / that's it. That's your home page, and then these are your inbox, and if that is outbox, so that will be your outbox. So outbox and inbox, outbox and inbox. Yeah, and then you can also try finally. So back to your instances. Where are the instances you have? So go to the instances, and what do? From this auto scale, I have created instances. Right? So go to the instance, and you try to stop instances the instances. When you stop or terminating the instances, so you should another new instances within that auto scale. That what observation has been. Okay. So you can just try that. Terminate the instance or stop instance if that is whether you have that new instance is launched or not. Okay. So try that. Okay, you can check this and stop the instances has to create a new instance. Okay. Bye. So try this. Yeah. So hope the architecture is clear. The whole picture is clear. The setup is clear. But so do some hands-on. So this is the only first time. So of course there will be a lot of questions. Might be. Then so go through the session again, or else try to go with the implementation part. So do some good hands-on at least 2 to 3 times. If you get errors, and try to rectify the errors, and then so just do it. Do some good hands-on. This is required. Okay. Right. And I'd like to inform you that classroom students, you can continue from Tuesday. So tomorrow we don't have a session. We can continue from Tuesday and classroom. Online students, as usual, we can continue online. Right. Thank you. Any questions?
Krishna, yesterday's recording hasn't been uploaded yet.
I haven't shared. Actually, I have changed my system. I'm just trying to rectify this thing.
No problem. Okay. Thank you.
Probably I will be doing it in the afternoon.
Sure.
Including today. Yeah. Any more questions?
Sir, we are created the instances inside the target groups. I mean, attached to target groups. We are firstly created instances, and after that we attach the target group. It is the one of way.
Sorry.
Sir, we create the instances. After that,
Yes.
we attach to target groups.
Correct. Yes. That was the second step. Okay. Those who are confused, okay, let me give you the steps. That's the first step. And second step is AMIs. Third step is autoscale groups. And fourth step, I have created load balancer. And fifth step, I have created target groups. And then, so in the sixth step, I have linked these two. Okay, that is my sixth step. Okay, target groups and then autoscale groups are linked. And then the final step is, this is your final step, setting the rules. That's my final step, seventh step.
Fine, sir.
Okay, fine. I think that's it, I guess. Any more questions? Well, thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.